Hey guys, welcome back. It's Mshindi here with you. And now that the season has ended, we are now waiting for the best, the drama. This is the drama we've been longing for. And finally, to announce officially this Chelsea have confirmed that Mauricio Pochettino is now the new coach of Chelsea Football Club. Here we go. He'll take over from our caretaker Frank Lampard, and he's a really good choice for me. I really like what he's doing. In actually, yeah, despite him coming from a poor team, maybe from Spurs and maybe PSG, where he did an average performance, I can say he's a top coach. Actually, when you see his record at Spurs, it's actually really good. Despite some top coaches having coached Spurs, alifanya kitu a good work, and I commend him for him. I commend him for that job he did, because he made Spurs finish position two in the Premier League twice. He took them to the Champions League final, and yeah, he did some crazy recruitment, but that has held Tottenham up to date with Kane. And yeah, Kane was in the academy and bought Son. That was really good, and we have to say, yeah, I hope it does something. And now to our transfer targets of the season. Chelsea, Chelsea is going for a central defensive midfielder, because Enzo Fernandez is struggling to play alone, and we for our target is this guy over here. His name is Manuel Ugarte. Manuel Ugarte plays as a central defensive midfielder, or a center mid box to box in Sporting Lisbon. He is 22 years of age and is really good. If you actually see his stats are really beautiful. He has good passing accuracy. He has good passage. He has good distribution. He's calm. He's composed, and actually he can play as a solo CDM, and he can play as a double pivot. And we're playing the 4-2-3-1, or any when it includes two midfielders at the back. And actually, that's a solid. If you don't get Manuel Ugarte, maybe go for Caicedo. But the good thing, Manuel Ugarte has approved Chelsea's plans. Remember, Ugarte is being hunted by Chelsea and PSG, but he chose Chelsea over PSG. And that's a good choice, because PSG is right now in PSG is in shambles, and PSG in PSG, if he goes in PSG, he'll actually struggle, because Ebu, just look, Fabian Ruiz, Carlos Soler, those are two top midfielders who has actually struggled in that PSG team. Danilo Pereira is struggling now CDM. Yeah. Next option. Next target, number 2, to renew contract of Mason Mount. Now remember, this guy has had contract issues since last season, where this season he said he could commit his future into Chelsea, but before the World Cup it was sure that he would sign a contract. But after the World Cup, things took a drastic turn to the worst, and now Mount is looking to leave. Despite Pochettino convincing him, Mount is not yet convinced, and he may look to leave the Blues in the summer. And now the most now surprising and the most depressing news you'll ever hear. This man, Joe Felix, has been told he will leave Chelsea. Yes, his loan deal expired and he'll go back to his parent club. But there were plans to retrieve to sign Harvard's Nini Felix again on a second loan spell at Chelsea. But these plans now were capsized, since Pochettino said that he doesn't include Felix in his plans, since he's trying to bring Mount, to convince Mount to stay. And actually, that's not a good plan. That's actually not good at all, because Felix was actually one of our best players. He was doing a good link up. Although Christopher Nkunku is coming, that will be unfair. You also remember our loan players who are just there, who are going to come: Kinaboli Ngoli, Lukaku, yeah, and kina nani tanguaji, kina Hodgson, even when Malo Gusto, our signing is coming to. Yeah. And also we talk about now because mostly here we talk about football. Let's talk about financial fair play rule, FFP. FFP rule. What is that, if you ask me? FFP, for financial fair play rule, looks at clubs that have higher spending potential and the players they bring in and the players they sell. Now, if you look, Chelsea was actually recently went against the financial fair play rule by bringing in across two transfer periods 600 million, but not releasing players. That's why we could actually see our squad was more than 30 players than the standard, maybe 26 players. You were by more 4 or 5 because we think we had 31. Now, Chelsea this summer will be forced to offload 10 players, and it's a must. They have to offload 10 players in order not to break the rule. Now, if I were the first, let's take the 10 guys I would choose for Nini to go out to maybe to go and look for other options. Let's start. Number one, Benjamin Mendy. He has had contract issues and he will not look to resign, to renew, and I want him to leave. Number one. Number two, Cesar Azpilicueta. Cesar Azpilicueta is actually old. He has been in the club 11 years. It's time to move on to look for another club where he'll get more game time. Number three, Kalidou Koulibaly. Kalidou Koulibaly, you can see now, he's actually not in the picture anymore, despite being fit. Chalobah was being played there. Actually, Kalidou Koulibaly, it's time for him to go, and we may really get some good money if we sell him because he's still in perfect shape. Number four, this guy by the name of Mateo Kovacic. I know I may get some hate by saying him, but actually, it's time to know to start a new generation. And in order to do something, we have to sell him. And I would love for him to go and explore the options. And mostly is heavily linked to Man City, and he will do a good job there. Number five is Christian Pulisic. Christian Pulisic, remember, has been at Chelsea for, I think now he has finished his fourth season or fifth, and he's actually not lived up to the expectations. We saw him perform well in Lampard's first season and his first season in the 1920, where he showed his potential, and he has not really lived up to it with injuries having to derail him back. That was number five. Number six, Hakim Ziyech. Hakim Ziyech has not had a proper stint at Chelsea and has actually struggled with game time despite being fit. And it's time for him now to look for other options to have game time. Remember, he was linked with PSG in the winter break in January, but the documents weren't completed in time, and he didn't have a chance to move. Number eight, number seven. Number seven, you have Callum Hudson-Odoi. Callum Hudson-Odoi is on loan at Bayer Leverkusen, and when I think he comes back to Chelsea, he won't have a space, would have any chance to compete for a slot in the team, and it's time for him to leave. And yeah, he's done us proud at Leverkusen despite and what at Chelsea he did accomplished. Number eight, Loftus-Cheek. Loftus-Cheek has been really good at Chelsea. He hasn't complained. He has been played different positions from waiting back to centre back to midfield, and this guy has never caused any drama. And it's time, he's a proper player, but it's time for him to look for other options for him to be able to get game time. Number nine, you have Ethan Ampadu. He's at loan at Spezia, and Ethan Ampadu, yes, he can be a good player, but now he's not the standard for Chelsea, and I think it's time for him maybe to leave. At number 10, I'm going for Pierre-Emile Aubameyang. Pierre-Emile Aubameyang has a really, I think, a large salary. He's taking in a lot of salary, and I think it's time for him to go because he's not doing anything in the club, not game time. You also see he was called in the party league celebrations at Barcelona, and I think it's time for him to leave and yeah, he'll do good things at Barcelona. So those are my 10 picks. There are others more that maybe I could remember, but I will tell you. Maybe if I could also say maybe Gallagher. For me, Gallagher should leave. We can get a really good sum of money, there around 50 million, and yeah, it will be proper business there. Also, yeah, those are the guys maybe I would want to leave. Maybe I've forgotten some, but you can just tell me under in the comments. So we'll do. Now that was what has is being that has transpired in the market, and we'll continue informing you guys. So stay safe, and yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Push the notifications button to get more videos. And thank you guys for following. Stay tuned. I'll inform you how things will go in the market. Come on, just up the blues.